the title of the talk was The Consequences of Bad Design. And the kind of take-home message was really how important it is to test devices and technology that are being procured into a hospital to make sure that the design meets the user's needs. I think good design is really invisible. It doesn't really look like anything to the end user. They don't even notice that design's there. It doesn't get in their way. Whereas if you look at the opposite for bad design, that's where it doesn't meet the user needs. It really gets in the way of the user's ability to complete tasks, extra cognitive load, and more likely to result in errors. We rely on things like training and so on to try and improve the human, but really what we need to do is improve the context within which the humans work by better designing the environment and the technologies that humans have to interact with. So there's lots of examples of poor design, one being kind of the ballot that was designed for the 2000 elections in the States. If we look at how it was designed, it's really confusing. If you want to vote for the second person down on the list, they're labeled number 5, and the button for them is you have to press the third button down. So if we look at the results of that election, we can kind of see that a number of results were double punched. A lot of votes went to one contestant over another, and so it's not to say that the person who designed it wasn't thinking about the end users. The problem here is that they didn't test it with end users, and that's the most important thing. So design trumps instructions every time. So a lot of the time we think about including instructions for use, that users will use them and it'll help improve their productivity using a device. But that's not always the case. So if we look at the Southwestern Airlines example, there's an image that did the rounds on Twitter where people weren't wearing the mask correctly. And there was an image that showed that if they only had instructions, but they did have instructions. They had instructions on the card in the seat back pocket. They had instructions on the bag itself. And they also had guidance from the flight attendant on how to use it. Yet in this image, it shows people wearing it incorrectly. And it just shows that no matter how much instructions you have, the design will trump the instructions every time. I think testing is important because even as a human factors specialist, so having a good understanding of human limitations, a good understanding of design, if you don't test a product, then you can never really be certain how people are going to use it. And we have examples of where we've tested products and people have done all kinds of strange things. And so if you don't have that understanding initially, you don't have the ability to build in mitigation strategies before you implement a product.